Hello there. I don't know why I gestured with the umbrella. Whatever. The weather's actually pretty nice right now. It's I don't even know how cold it is. It's probably like about 60-ish or so. So pretty good. Pretty good. Great, sky's a little gray, but I like it. It's nice. Peaceful. Just enjoying the normal weekend chill. Yeah. So I asked my mom about, well, I texted her, really. She's not here in person, fortunately. But I texted her about the whole just preferring a job that's like a janitor job or a trash pickup or something like that, for the reasons I mentioned before. And she was like, yeah, that's, like perfectly reasonable. That's, so it feels nice. I know for myself, I've sometimes had the question of like, I don't really know what I want to do for a job. And I think that's actually like a pretty normal experience. I think a lot of people don't really know exactly, you know what, let's go a little longer. Let's go a different route this time. This is nice. I do need to use the bathroom and drink some water, but besides that, I'm fine. So yeah, a lot of people don't know what their dream job is, or even feel like they necessarily have one. Like, I think, I think for myself, it could change what I'm, what I'd be looking for, but I think it's kind of just like a value-based judgments, and my priorities and, values might and probably will change, over time. There's a lot of squirrels out here today. I've seen like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could have sworn I saw like at least 1 or 2 earlier. How many fucking squirrels are on this campus? I don't know. I always thought squirrels were kind of cute. I've heard some people say the ones on campus here are a little savage. I have yet to witness this supposed savagery, but I'm sure there's probably some story behind that. Anyhow, I don't know. I just thought they were kind of just like, some small animals. I don't know. They're just cute. I also just think it's super funny, like the way that like squirrels and birds and, other similar animals, they just turn their heads like this. Like they don't like, unlike us humans where we have like, a fluid sort of like smooth motion, they're like, especially because, they have eyes on the opposite sides of their head. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of cute. I think it's funny to watch. It gets me every time. I don't know. Sort of small, funny pleasure of life. Yeah. So, looking at all the squirrels there. Lovely. I forget something with like job stuff. Oh, right, the whole dream job thing. Yeah, so, a lot of people, especially, people my age or at this point in their life, often don't really know what they want to do for a living. And I think, if anyone's watching this and they feel a similar way, I'd just say, that's perfectly all right, I think one thing that I value, one sort of thing I like to live by is that, I want to work to live, not live to work like our business sort of culture is. It is really nice. And there's like not very many people around. I don't mean to sound like psychopathic or anything like that. I'm not one. I just like the peace and quiet. Well, the peace and quiet, as in much less people talking. When I say ironically as I'm talking, besides that, I like the nature sounds. Those are pretty, and I hear the some birds are chirping, and Actually, a lot of different ones if I really try to pay attention to it. Very pretty though. Yeah, there was this, yeah, sorry, off topic here, but there was actually this, if I remember correctly, there was this book or two that my mom got us from when she worked for Usborne, which is this big, sort of this big children's book, kind of like company. They have a lot of interesting stuff. I have some fond memories. There was this one science, like 100 science facts one. I read that book so many times, and I think it's a little funny because I think I remembered, maybe not every single detail, but I remembered some stuff from that actually made it a little easier for me with some of my science classes throughout the years. You know, from middle school to high school to even a little bit here in college. Again, I didn't, make it perfect. I didn't remember everything, but just, some stuff. And I think that's pretty cool. I go down this wooden bridge. I think I've only really gone here like once or twice, and I'm just really liking the view here. I don't know how good, but you can kind of see, how tall these trees are. I really like the, I also like the court down there. I don't know how well you can see it, but anyway. So, yeah. I don't know. I keep on getting distracted. Yeah, so, the whole, work to live thing. I think, honestly, I think that's a little bit of a healthier approach as well. I'm not saying that, for those who, are really determined, who are really ambitious, really passionate, and really care about, doing a lot for the world, by all means, right? You choose how you want to live. You choose how you want to orient yourself. And if that works out for you, if that makes you feel, empowered, if that makes you feel like you're doing something to contribute to the world, that's great. I want people to be able to live according to, their own sort of values and, the things that they enjoy doing make them feel like a part of the world, regardless of whatever one's lifestyle might be, just live authentically. I think that's really a really key thing to living happily and finding oneself. And I didn't realize how long these wooden stairs are. It's really cool though. Yeah, I should ask my friend who likes playing down here if he wants to do that sometime in the next couple of days. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think for myself, I just find that, working to live is healthier and also more satisfying, because I don't like, and I've mentioned this before, but I don't like, feeling like, extremely rushed. I don't like feeling like I have to constantly be on the go. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's kind of fun for a little bit. Sometimes it's kind of, there's this kind of thing where you kind of get the adrenaline going, right? And you pump up the music and it's like, feels great. But the thing is, it really only feels better for me, at least. I don't know for anyone else, but I imagine a lot of people have the same kind of experience, where if you're doing that all the time, it's really exhausting. This is not exactly the same type of thing, but I think it's a okayish comparison, if you're someone who's athletic, or someone who's very neurotic, or you've had a lot of trauma. I know these are sort of different things, but in my mind here, they relate in this way. You constantly have, this adrenaline, these signals, popping and pumping through, yeah, interesting expression I made there, through your body all the time. And it can really exhausting, to constantly have that. And I think, admittedly, I don't know the most amount about it, but if you're familiar with the Chinese concept of yin and yang, which I'm sure many people are, in fact, I think it's really just something about balance, and that if I understand correctly, yang is the sort of like masculine force, or the one of, action or aggressiveness or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this completely, but at least the way that I've seen before when I've looked stuff up, I think that's what I found somewhat. And if you have, I guess the idea with yin and yang is that if you have too much of one force, if you have too much of one thing, right, it's not good. It can lead to people being sick, or in some cases, extreme cases like death. But let's not go down that route. I'm not feeling particularly pessimistic right now. Even if I did, I shouldn't. But anyway, but yeah, it's generally just not healthy, right? It can lead to people being very unbalanced, but you over prioritize certain things. I guess there's a little bit of a way where, I kind of mentioned this earlier, I think it was in the last video, where I was talking about C.S. Joseph and the whole, personality typology stuff. So the essential idea there too is that, while we have certain cognitive functions that we're really good at, using, depending on what your type is, you don't want to overuse them. You don't want to rely solely on them. And sometimes if you do, you fail to take in information or make judgments about things from, different perspectives that we're either, not really willing to confront, or that we're blind to, or that we just don't value, whatever the case might be. So I guess it's a similar sort of way with that. And I think, I don't know. And I think also, plus, I guess for myself, it's not just like stuff like that. I can't really necessarily say that, like, oh, hey, I've been, overwhelmed by crazy tons of work. Like I've worked for many years and constantly go. And no, yeah, sure, like I've had times, I've had experiences where I've certainly felt that way, whether that was because I just felt like that's what I had to be or do, but maybe it wasn't, or if it actually was called for. It doesn't really matter, but the point just being that, I don't know, I just have had, I look back on my memories, and I realize a lot of, like, the really good ones, not all, but a lot of the really good ones were times where it was kind of just low-key, and it was not that complicated, and it was simple and peaceful, and yes, and oftentimes during those, be working on something, or we'd be on our way to some event, right? Let me give some concrete examples. So one time I just thought of was, and that's just crazy because this is feels like forever ago, but when I went to my first TobyMac concert, I believe it was, that was in Tennessee, and that was I would say before 6th grade. Good lordy, that was forever ago. I was 11, 12? Oh God, yeah. That was a long time ago. I mean, I know. I mean, I know technically that was only like 6-7 years ago, but for me, that feels like a long time. I don't know. For some people, probably not as long, because as you get older, actually, the number of years feels like it's less, because comparatively, it is less. It's a smaller percentage. It becomes a smaller percentage of your total lifespan. Anyway, so a particular instance here where, I went to the TobyMac concert. This was with a bunch of people at the church that I was going to at the time, which was, I would say, Jessamine Christian, I believe, Jessamine Christian Church in Nicholasville, I think. Is it Nicholasville, Wilmore, somewhere in that area? Yeah, and I remember this instance where we were in this hotel, and I remember, I think it was that everyone shared a room with like at least one or two other people. So I think I shared mine with one of the pastors, and then one of the older students, one of the older guys, who I think might have been like a high school junior or senior. Maybe he was a college student at the time. I don't know. He seemed really big to me though, and he seemed like fairly athletic. Although, to be honest, I don't really remember particularly well, because again, this was like forever ago, and haven't really thought about it in a long time. But anyway, it's besides the point of what the third guy's physical characteristics are. It's not really particularly important for describing this. Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of one instance there. I guess technically, well, I'll say with that before I go into the second part of this experience. So the first part here, the particular moment, was kind of just like when I think it was like one of the mornings they were at this hotel, and it's either like late night or early morning or something, where like one or two of the guys, they got up to take like a shower, and it was like pretty dark outside, not extremely. What do I have that's on my shoe that's sticking? I'll let me try to get this off real quick, because that is annoying. Okay, there we go. That's better. That was annoying. And the second part here was, so we actually stayed for like 1 or 2 days. We stayed at this place. We stayed at this like wooden cabin that was like 3 floors, I believe, and it had this like put golf course outside, something like that, and that was really cool. It also had this pool table in the downstairs, the bottom floor, basement, whatever it was. It was just really cool, and it was a really pretty area. I think it was like a really hilly one, so I remember like seeing a bunch of stuff off at the distance. It was a little weird, I'm not gonna lie, because it was like, and I felt this way with the other trips I took with my with the church, but with the youth center, whatever it was called. That like there was a lot of people that were like running around, and they were talking about like certain drama and stuff going on, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just enjoying some time here. I don't really know what's going on here. Admittedly, I still don't feel like I understand what's going on socially most of the time, but I guess I just got so used to it that it doesn't even cross my mind most of the time now. But anyway, well, I guess that wasn't really necessarily the best example of that wasn't really a working occasion either. I don't know, maybe that wasn't a good example. There's a good story. Maybe not a good example. Point here. I mean, I'm not, well, I don't have to really worry about it. I mean, not trying to convince anyone anything, just expressing thoughts. So, I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyway. Let's see here. Try to think of, you know what? I could say one more story. Why not? Just give me a few minutes. Maybe not a few minutes. Give me a couple seconds to think of something. Oh yeah. So one thing I just thought of was when I'm trying to remember which one it was, but it was one of the weddings that me and my whole family that we went to, that was further out. I don't remember if it was between my godparents. God, I haven't talked to them in a long time. I think we see them like every, I don't know, 6-7 years, 8. I don't know. It's been a long time though. Yeah, so I can't remember if it was that or if it was between my Uncle Patrick, not Suzanne. But both weddings were really good. I mean, all good memories from both. So I was gonna say, I just remembered stuff like, you know, when, remember, I remember this instance with one of them where, you know, Dad was driving us up, and, you know, I think we were in my dad's old van, if I remember correctly. You know, and they had this, like movie screen, the small one. You could put like DVDs into it, and I don't know, it's kind of cool. I mean, it was really a bit small for my liking, but then again, it's like, well, you know, how big can you really get a small TV screen, you know, in a vehicle? Anyway, and I remember, you know, like me and North, so all the snacks, all of like the stuff we were having on the road, you know, it was in like between our two seats, I think it was, and some of the stuff was in the back. And I remember we had like a bunch of stuff like Cheetos and Doritos and other sort of like, you know, snacks, and you know, stuff like chips and crackers and maybe a few sandwiches, I don't know. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. Just kind of reflecting back on that. You know, me and North, I think we played some card games, I believe it was. We often had this thing where we bring like one of our card games with us. Sometimes it was one of the card sets that North got as like one of their presents. I think there might have been like one set that I got. Now that I think about it, there was actually this one set of cards that I got at this like random instance. I would say it was like I would say it was like during 5th or 6th grade. I would say probably 5th, where we just got to like take this like random sort of like stack of cards. And it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't just like, oh, that was the perfect number. I think there was like a lot, I mean a seriously lot of one particular type of card. I think it was like, was it like 6 or, I think it was like 6 or 8. And I would say like spades, or, no, it was like hearts. I think it was like 6 or 8 of hearts or something like that. I don't know. But that's really funny. I remember this lovely, super original game that I came up with, that I tried to play with my brother and one or two of his friends. On one of the other trips that we had. I think it was my third. I think it was the third trip I had, and the third one here was to I say it was Florida. So the beach in Florida. I don't remember which one, unfortunately. I haven't thought about this one forever. And the fun game was guess the card. I don't really know if I need to explain that. I think it's pretty pretty self-explanatory. But as if anyone case did not understand the the probably could not be any more obvious title or name of the game here. Pretty much what you do is, so you have one person that's holding a stack of cards. It doesn't even have to be like the original stack. It could be Uno cards or whatever. It doesn't even really matter what type. And then, you have one or two people. I mean, I guess you could have more, but you don't have too many people participating. So you could probably have like one or two people. Maybe they're like competing. You could do a cooperative version. It doesn't really matter. Where they're just trying to they just try to guess what the cards you're holding is, and they have like 2 or 3 guesses each. If you're using them like a classic stack, you're not allowed to. There's certain things the people are not allowed to guess. Like, for example, you can't just guess red or black, because that's literally just half the stack. You have 50% chance. You can't have it that easy where you just guess based on a coin flip, pretty much, or what would be one. So they either have to guess the number or the if they if they guess like the number, and then you could do and or the shape. Now that's not exactly equal footing there, because there's way less shapes. There's only like 4 of them, and there's like 14 numbers. I don't know. But if you want to, you could implement stuff like, people are allowed to or not allowed to guess, like, you could say even or odd numbers. You can also decide what you want ace to be, if you want it to be 1 or 15. So just, that's the kind of stuff. If you just like Uno cards, you're not allowed to just guess like random or something like that. So you could either, of course, you could just guess like the number or the color, but you could, if you wanted to guess, like one of the ones that isn't directly that, you could also, I don't know. I guess you could be like, well, you could guess, skip or reverse or +2 or +4, or I mean, I guess it depends on what version of Uno you're playing with. But anyway, don't think I have to explain it terribly much. I think it's pretty easy to understand, pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, so that's kind of just fun little story stuff right there. So I gotta go in, work on Minecraft video stuff, use the bathroom, drink some water. Yeah, I might make some more videos, because it is pretty nice out here, and I might do the poems. We'll see, maybe not. But anyway, have a good rest of your day.